Welcome to Clay Life Studio. I'm Travis Thomason, and today we're going to work on raising. And this one's for beginners. I'll do some much bigger chunks for more advanced potters in other videos. This is Ronan, the shop dog. So first thing I do is I bring my seat up a little bit. If you're on a stool and you can't raise your seat, don't worry about it. I like to be up and over my clay, but you'll do just fine if you stay low. Add some water. If your clay's a little off, you can give it a little hug. If you've come wide, bring it back in by simply collaring, giving it that little squeeze. Okay. I use plenty of water. I work drier as my pieces get farther along. If they're really big pieces, I'll work a little bit drier, but for the small ones, just add some water. Here we go. So there's lots of options on how to raise. I'm going to try to show you a couple of them today. My favorite is the knuckle pull. So I simply take the sponge in my hand in a loose fist. It looks just like this. I put that down on the bat with this part of my finger here between the two knuckles there. And I just rotate. I'm going to push in and climb. And that clicking just means the bat's a little bit loose, so it's lifting up a little bit, and that's okay. Now, if you get out and it gets loose, just come back, give it a little squeeze, bring it back in. I want the top to be narrower than the base because what I'm trying to do is establish height. So here we go again. We add some water. Gonna do that knuckle pull, push, and climb. And by moving it towards the middle, while the clay is trying to move out, it will go up. Remember that there's all kinds of centrifugal force pushing out, so I'll push back in, and it'll come up. Add a little bit of water, make a notch down here. Always keep the bat clean. Beginners have a tendency to let that clay really start to spread out. So their hand ends up on top of that clay and it starts bouncing along on there. So then when you first start pushing in, your hand's got all this extra movement. And remember that the goal with pottery is always to be steady. Okay, so let's add a little bit of water. Do the knuckle pull again. Push and climb. As I come up, now that I've done a couple raises, I start to ease off, but I release the pressure from the inside. If my inside hand is pushing really hard while my outside hand is pushing in, that wall thickness will disappear. I don't want that. So as I push in, the inside hand is just going to gently start to back away. By the time it gets to the top, there's virtually no pressure on the inside. It's just giving a little bit of support. There we go. Another technique, fingertips. If you use a couple of fingers and you push in with a little bit of pressure on the inside, then you can raise this way as well. This is great for small pieces or high up on a piece. I like to use it when I'm at the very top of something big. I go to fingertips. All right, let's do it all the way from the bottom. And you can hold a sponge or you can get rid of the sponge, push in with your fingertips, and climb. Now, have you noticed that every one of these raises so far, I've maintained the same pace all the way through, slow and steady. The other thing to look for is the lines. When you're self-evaluating, check out these lines nice and tight. And that means my pace is good. If your lines are gaped, if there's these spaces between the lines as you come up, your hands are moving way too fast compared to the wheel speed. Now, a lot of potters throw slower than this, at a slower wheel speed. I like to speed up a bit. I think it gives me better control. You'll kind of find your sweet spot. But remember to look for these tight lines, regardless. Okay, let's add a little bit of water. Let's go back down to the bottom. going to bring my chair up again. Now, look where I've got my knees. I'm squeezing the splash pan because that gives me more stability. It's kind of like riding a motorcycle. If you've ever ridden a dirt bike, you squeeze the seat, it gives you better control. You feel like you're in better control, more connected to the bike. Same thing here. I just want to be super steady. I want to hang on. I'm going to push and climb. Nice and easy. And up she goes. Good. My hand jumped there a little bit, so I just drop back down, go through the same spot again. Okay. And that's basic raising. Pretty easy. If we get any wobbles anywhere, we just come back, do a little collaring. And collaring, I do by squeezing between my thumb and my second finger. There we go.